Module overview film is often described as a visual language, a medium that communicates not only through dialogue and performance, but through imagery, color, composition, and movement. In this module, we explore the advanced grammar of symbolism, subtext, and visual metaphor, which forms the deep structure of cinematic storytelling. Filmmakers are visual poets. They use light, shadow, spatial relations, costume, props, color schemes, and camera language to communicate what is not said. Subtext and symbolism imbue a scene with layers of meaning, allowing audiences to engage in interpretation and discovery. These tools enable cinema to transcend the literal and invite viewers into the metaphysical, emotional, psychological, and cultural dimensions of story. This module deconstructs how visual composition can encode thematic subtext, reveal character psychology, evoke cultural archetypes, and construct narrative metaphors. We also analyze how elements like mirrors, thresholds, staircases, or weather can function symbolically in film language. Whether used subtly or overtly, symbolism turns film into a medium of suggestion rather than declaration. By the end of this module, you will be able to identify and analyze rich visual strategies that add depth to storytelling and elevate cinema from craft to art. Learning objectives. By the end of this module, you will be able to define and differentiate between symbolism, metaphor, and subtext in cinematic language. Analyze how visual elements can convey character psychology or narrative themes without explicit dialogue. Recognize recurring visual motifs and archetypes in global cinema traditions. Deconstruct iconic scenes using visual metaphor analysis. Apply the concepts of symbolic composition in practical film analysis or storyboarding. Core Content Areas 7.1 Understanding Subtext in Visual Composition. Subtext is the implied or underlying meaning of a scene or image. While a character may smile, the lighting, framing, and music may suggest pain. Subtext often exists beneath the literal content and is delivered through visual design rather than explicit dialogue. Key strategies: contrast between image and dialogue, e.g., cheerful music over scenes of violence. Visual contradiction, e.g., a wedding in a thunderstorm. Composition revealing emotion, e.g., a character framed as isolated in a wide shot to suggest loneliness. Example: in Revolutionary Road, 2008, a dinner scene with muted color and static composition reflects emotional suffocation despite surface-level pleasantries. 7.2 Symbolism through visual motifs. Symbols are visual representations of abstract concepts, repeated throughout a film to create associative meaning. Common visual motifs: mirrors, duality, introspection, fragmented identity, black swan persona, windows, doors, opportunity, confinement, escape, rear window, the hours, staircases, transition, moral ascent, descent, vertigo, Joker, water, purification, danger, rebirth, the shape of water, Titanic. Clocks, watches, time, urgency, fate, in time, Hugo. Note: a symbol gains meaning through its contextual use, not its objecthood. Example: in The Great Gatsby, 2013, the green light at the end of Daisy's dock symbolizes unattainable dreams and the illusion of hope. 7.3 Color as symbolic language. Previously discussed as part of lighting and emotion, color also functions symbolically. Depending on cultural or narrative context, colors can evoke a spectrum of meanings. White, innocence, death, the afterlife, varies culturally. Red, love, lust, rage, blood, revolution. Black, mystery, sophistication, death. Green, envy, greed, growth, decay. Gold, wealth, temptation, divinity. Example: in Hero, 2002, each color-coded chapter reflects a shift in truth, perception, and emotional tone. 7.4 Metaphor in cinematic composition. Metaphor occurs when one visual element stands in for another, creating layers of associative meaning. It is a form of symbolic substitution. Types of visual metaphors. Environmental metaphors. A storm reflects inner turmoil. The piano, King Lear. Spatial metaphors. Distance between characters mirrors emotional estrangement. Lighting metaphors. A character moving from shadow to light symbolizes moral clarity or revelation. Costume metaphors. Changing dress reflects psychological transformation. Example: in American Beauty, the plastic bag floating in the wind becomes a metaphor for overlooked beauty in mundane life. 7.5 Cultural and archetypal symbolism. Some symbols resonate due to their mythic or cultural associations. These archetypes carry universal psychological meaning. Jungian archetypes. In film, the shadow, repressed emotions, or the darker self. Fight Club, the Babadook. The hero's journey, symbolic trials, death, rebirth, mentors and thresholds. Star Wars, The Matrix. The Garden, innocence, origin, Pan's Labyrinth, the Garden of Words. Cultural symbolism. Example: in Yoruba tradition, white cloth, as seen in Ellison Oba, might represent purity, transition to the spiritual realm, or ritual significance. 7.6 Symbolic framing and blocking. Even the placement of characters within a frame can create symbolic resonance. Character in the corner, marginalization or repression. Character framed by bars or fences, imprisonment, literal or emotional. Symmetrical compositions, order, fate, destiny. Asymmetrical compositions, chaos, instability, conflict. Example: in the Grand Budapest Hotel, Wes Anderson's symmetrical framing reflects the character's futile attempts to impose order on a chaotic world. 7.7 Abstract and experimental symbolism. In avant-garde and art cinema, symbolism often lacks clear interpretation and leans into poetic ambiguity. Visual texture, scratches, blurs, distortion for emotional tone. Maya Deren, Brakhage. Temporal loops, time as metaphor, last year at Marienbad primer. Repetition, ritualistic or obsessive themes. Dogville, Holy Motors. Case studies in symbolism. Pan's Labyrinth, 2006. Fairy tale imagery to reflect fascist violence and childhood trauma. The Tree of Life, 2011. Cosmic scale and natural imagery to explore grief, faith, and origin. The Shining, 1980. Visual metaphors of entrapment, cycles of violence, and isolation. Blue Velvet, 1986. Suburban imagery, masking perversion and chaos beneath surface key terms. Subtext, visual, motif. Visual metaphor, Jungian archetypes, cultural symbolism, blocking framing allegory, ambient metaphor, expressionism.